Okay, so a very different type of video today. You will notice that this video is not edited in any way. This video is completely raw. It's just going to be me moving around the webcam a couple of times so you can see my face bigger or smaller. But this video is more of a raw video because it speaks from my own personal experience, because I've been on both ends of the spectrum here, and I'm going to show you what I mean about that spectrum in a second. So getting into this video, I really want to focus on what the difference is between someone who comes into trading as a marathon runner and someone who comes into trading as a sprinter. They are two very different things and they're not spoke about enough in the trading industry. So I'm going to go into that today, and I really hope that you do stick along until the end of the video, because I've got something really cool that you might want to know about when it comes to Ment Funding.
Funding meant for traders. Ment Funding.
Okay, so today's video actually goes into the analogy that most people don't really know too much about. It's actually, referred to as the tortoise and the hare, or maybe the rabbit and the hare, or the rabbit and the hare, the rabbit and the turtle, or it could be referred to something like Tom and Jerry, for all I care. But the point of this video is that we're going to speak about the marathon runner versus a sprinter, and which one I was, which one I am now, and which one you should be if you're not the right one. Like in trading, there's not always a right or wrong for every single thing, but in this particular instance, there is 100% a right or a wrong when it comes to the speed that you're taking trading. Not only if you just started, but if you're actually in trading and you're not consistent for, I'd say, at least 6 months straight. Once you've hit consistency for 6 or 12 months straight, I think that's when you can safely say that you have made it. But in the meantime, that you could fall into any one of these, and one of them is a big trap. So let's actually get into it. So let's imagine the concept of a marathon runner versus a sprinter. So obviously, backstory, I came into trading as a 19 or 20 year old person, so a few years ago now, and I really thought that I could come into trading, do the bare minimum, maybe follow some signals and make a fair bit of money. Boy, was I humbled. That's not how things work. And if you're watching this video, I think that you already know that that's not how things work. If you do think that that's how things work, I am so glad that you found this video, because this video is about to put a lot of things into perspective, as well as all the other videos on this channel, and also the MentFX mentorship. If you follow the link in the description down below, you'll be able to know more about what I mean about the MentFX mentorship if you've not seen it already. But in the meantime, let's actually get into this video and into the two different traps, or one trap and one bad trap and one good trap that you can fall under. Because if you fall under the good trap, you might feel like it's a trap in the short term, but it's actually a blessing in disguise in the long term. Okay, so to support my examples, I'm going to jump onto the screen and I'm going to open up my whiteboard. And what I'm going to start off with is I'm going to create two sections. So let's call section 1 the sprinter. And let's call section 2, section this off, and we'll call section 2 the marathon runner. Marathon. I cannot do this. I can't use my mouse or anything. So for the rest of it, I'm going to use my actual keyboard. So a sprinter comes into trading with the idea that it's going to be easy. I'm going to make money quickly. I can't wait to get into the live markets and trade. If I don't trade now, I'm going to miss the moves. All that type of stuff, etc, etc, etc. And this is the mindset that you do not want to be in, because this is going to hold you back big time. Okay, now this is actually the mindset I was in when I first started. So when I started off trading, for some context, I used to work for a contact center. At the time, I was an advisor at a contact center, which was pretty much full hours, 40 hours per week in the UK. So that could have ranged from anything Monday to Sunday on shifts. So it's all different type of shifts, and I really wanted out. I hated coming towards the end of the month and not having any money left. So I really thought that trading was going to be the holy grail of success. It was going to be the best way for me to make money in the quickest possible fashion. But like I say, that's not how things work in this industry. So if you feel like you've come into the trading with the idea that it's going to be easy, that you're going to make money quickly, that you can't wait to get into the live markets and get in there and make some money, slow down, okay, and learn what it's actually like. For a marathon runner, it is completely different. So let's copy and paste this over. So a marathon runner comes in with the idea of having a passion for the financial markets, because you can't just go into an industry and not have a passion, right? You have to be actually interested in it. You're not going to get a car salesman going into car sales who does not have a passion for cars. Otherwise, how are they going to sell the cars? You're not going to have you're not going to have someone who sells a journal, a book, for example, who is not passionate about that book, because they're not going to be able to sell it to you. You're not going to have me on this video right now speaking to you with a lot of passion, because I do have passion in trading. I have passion in your guys' success. If I didn't have that, I wouldn't be speaking the way that I am now, and I wouldn't be sharing this insight and my experiences that I've had in the past. Okay, so a person who's running a marathon comes in with the idea that they have a passion for the financial markets. They're in this for the long term. It doesn't matter how long they take until they place first live trade. So as you can see, you can always probably tell, you can already probably tell the difference. Someone who's come into this as a marathon runner will spend a lot more time focusing on the actual studies. They'll spend more time focusing on the data collection, on the back testing. So let's write that down. Focus on studies, data collection, back testing, identifying how markets move. And if you've not done any of this, then I recommend you do check out the Ment Effect mentorship. Like I said, there is a link in the description down below, but finish watching this video first, because this is going to set your expectations straight. Okay, so a marathon runner is going to focus on these things, and a sprinter, let's also do the focus aspects. A sprinter is going to focus on making money now. It's going to focus on getting funded accounts straight away, and we're going to go a bit more into that as well, because just because someone is a sprinter who comes into the financial markets does mean that they can get funded straight away, and it also means they can get a really nice payout straight away. But there is a catch to that, and we'll get into that in a second. It's not too fussed about the studies, data collection, back testing, identify market movement. It's not too fussed about strategy. They will strategy hop. And now strategy hopping is when you go into one strategy for a week. Let's say you figure out that, it's not really working how I like it. I've not really tested it, so I really don't know what it's like. Let me just do a bit of Googling, and lo and behold, here's a new strategy I'll try out next week. That's strategy hopping, when you're going from different strategy to strategy, entry to entry, trying out all sorts of different time frames under the sun, just because for the sake of you didn't get enough trades this week, or you didn't get enough trades today, so you want more tomorrow. That is strategy hopping, not sticking to something consistently. Unless you actually have that here. So marathon runner will also stick to consistency in their processes, will stick to the same strategy week in, week out. Cool. So we already know some differences between a sprinter and a marathon runner. So that's the type of mindset that they might come in with, okay? So let me just make a bit of a note of that as well. I'll use a bit of a nice little circle. I use a nice little square here. So the mindset of a marathon sprinter is going to be something a bit like this. I'll make it a bit larger, and let's match up the colors as well, actually. Oops. Just copy that over to this side, and we'll look at the marathon's mindset as well. Okay, so we've got the sprinter's mindset, which looks a bit like this, and we've got the marathon person's mindset that looks a bit like this. So now, what will happen with these two people? So what next? What next? And I know some of your guys' OCDs are going crazy, so there we go. I will align these for you. Very good, very nice. Let me move this over a bit. So what next for a sprinter? What happens? Well, they've got a strategy now. So they have a strategy. Let me just remove this as well to avoid any confusion. Got a strategy, goes into live markets, buys a funded account, starts trading it. Perfect. But what about someone who's stuck to the marathon aspect? Well, it's actually exactly the same. Okay, so someone who has come in with a sprinter mindset, excuse me, I thought a sneeze was coming then, obviously not. Someone who's coming with a sprinter mindset with the idea that it's going to be easy, going to make money quickly, can't wait to get into the live markets and trade. If I don't trade now, I'm going to miss moves. And they're focused on making money right now. They're focused on getting funded accounts straight away. They're always going to be looking at, they're going to have a strategy, they're going to go into the live markets, they're going to buy a funded account and they're going to start trading it, okay? But that also is the same for the marathon runner. The end result is the same for the marathon runner and the mindset is completely different. Now, the one big differentiating factor that I've not covered yet is the time that it takes to reach both outcomes. So for a sprinter to reach the outcome of a mindset to what next, let's actually do it in a bit of a different way, just so it's a bit clearer for you guys. Let me try and do this. Very good, very nice. And let me just move this out a bit. So from sprinters to go from mindset to what next is going to take anything from 0 days to let's say about 2 months, because some people, you know, they might do a bit of work and they might think that it's enough, but that's always not enough. It might be enough for some, it might not be enough for others. Okay, so do take this with a pinch of salt, but also make sure that pinch of salt is quite a big pinch of salt, basically. But then you've got the marathon runner who has also done the same thing. Let's mark this out. So a marathon runner's done the same thing as well. But a marathon runner has spent the best part of, let's say, 3 months to, please don't think that this is actually how long it might take you. It might do, it might not, it might take longer, it might take less. But anything from 3 months to 2 years. Okay, that might come as a shock, it might not. Okay, so think about first where you thought that you were ready for a funded account. I know for me personally, I honestly thought that I was ready for a funded account very, very quickly when it came to learning a strategy, which obviously is not the case. So the only differentiating factor here is the mindset and how long it takes. The rest of the outcomes are actually the same, okay? So what happens after that? Well, the person that went into funded accounts with a bad mindset has now either one of two things. So one of two things: failed a funded account, repeats back to first what next, or passes a funded account and blows the real account, because they don't understand their system. They don't have a set system in place. They've not done the testing behind knowing the variances, knowing when their entries actually work best and when they don't work the best. They don't know the difference of that because they've not put the hard work in. Okay, and let's do the exact same for the person who's come in as a sprinter. A marathon runner even. So this could also be one of two things as well. So this could be failed a funded account but realizes they're not yet ready, goes back to data collection and back testing, or looks into deep-rooted psychological issues that is preventing them from passing a funded account. Or they pass the funded account and they maintain that funded account because they know what their system is like. And if they know that they've passed their account, they've done all the hard work, they've done all the data collection, they've done all the testing, and they know when their trades set up the best and when it's actually time to trade and when it's time to stay on the sidelines, they are always going to be the type of traders that are going to have the highest chance on maintaining a funded account. But for the traders that go in with the idea that they're not too fussed about the studies, they don't have to data collect, they prefer forward testing, we've all heard that one before, you know, in those cases, well, they're actually more likely to blow the real account even if they get funded with it. There's no point passing funded accounts if you don't know how to maintain it. And if you don't know how to maintain it, what are you even doing buying funded accounts? You need to take a step back, take yourself out of the sprinter mindset and move yourself into the marathon mindset, whereby you start focusing on these things straight away. Have the understanding that it's going to take anything from 3 months to 2 years. This is not a quick get rich quick scheme. It's nothing like that. Trading is not like that. If trading was like that, just think for a second, okay? If you really think that this is how trading works, if this is how trading worked, ask yourself, why is everyone not doing it? Okay, that's not how trading works. This here is how trading works. Let me get rid of all these drawings because it's actually doing my head in. But like I said, this is how trading works. You redo that. Cool. So this is how trading works, as we know. And this is what I really want you guys to focus on going forward. So if you feel like you are currently a part of the sprinter mindset, I want you to right now open a notepad, open a pen and get a pen and paper and write down why you think you're there. Is it because that you want to make money quickly? Is it because you cannot wait to get into the live markets? Is it because you think you're going to miss moves? Or are you actually in the right mindset of being a marathon runner, where you're actually taking it step by step, you're taking it slowly, you're focusing on what matters, all in the potential outcome or the more likely outcome that you're going to maintain a funded account, versus someone who actually blows their real account even if they end up passing it, or just fails funded accounts left, right and centre, overall losing thousands of pounds, dollars, whatever the currency is, on paying for funded accounts. Why not just do the hard work now and actually learn how you want to trade, do the data collection, do the back testing, learn how the markets move, know when to get involved, know when to stay out of the market, compared to just pure gambling. And I'm actually going to add some more on here as well really quickly. So a sprinter is also, as I'm sure you can tell by now, is someone who is referred to as a gambler. So AKA gambler. And a marathon runner is someone who is referred to as a trader. So which one are you? And if you find yourself being a marathon runner, what are your secrets? Share them in the comments down below. If you find yourself being a sprinter, why do you feel like that's happening? This is not anyone telling you off or anything like that, but why do you feel like it's happening? What makes you believe that it's going to make you successful long-term consistency? And why do you think that it's actually going to work even right now? And how long have you been doing that as well? So what happens next? Let's say someone does get funded. They could end up quitting their job as well, because obviously a lot of people who come into trading are doing it to better their lives, gain a decent amount of capital. For example, through Ment Funding right now, you can have up to $1 million in funding. So a lot of people are going into the mindset of learning how to trade to build that wealth and that generational wealth as well, is what I'm trying to say. So for the people who go into trading with the mindset of, let's just create a new one here. So what does the future look like for each? Okay, and let's look at what the future looks like for a marathon runner. So let me just make this, and let's make a marathon runner future. And let's make a sprinter future as well. Okay, so what does the future of a sprinter look like first? Well, the future of a sprinter can look like a couple of things. It can look like many past accounts, along with many failed accounts. Okay, because a sprinter is never going to be consistent long term. Likely having to go back into full or part-time employment in a job because they might have quit working when they first got funded and then blew through their money they also are at a much higher likelihood of making more mistakes compared to a marathon runner, because the sprinter does not have the experience behind them. For all you MentFX mentorship members right now, this is where maximizing experience comes in, obviously. And for all of you that have gone through Anton's MentFX mentorship YouTube channel, where it's not actually the mentorship, it's just a public YouTube channel, you'll also know a bit about that, how important it is to maximize your experience compared to just jumping into the live markets. Okay, cool. So they're going to go through there, they're going to go through the emotions, might actually are at a statistically higher likelihood of having a mental breakdown. And you might think, well, where I've got that data from? My own head, because that happened to me. Or compare that with someone who is a marathon runner who actually does many past accounts, along with many maintained past accounts with minimal blown accounts, if any. They're likely to continue expanding on their income, building more income streams and building generational wealth. And they are likely to help their friends, family, parents, kids, literally anyone, siblings, etc. with life. But someone who's a sprinter, can they do that? Well, not really, because they don't even know if they can help themselves, because they, for all they know, might end up having to go back into work. Even if they did quit their job because they had a bit of money with them, they might end up having to go back into a work environment because they might have misunderstood that being a sprinter gets you nowhere. It doesn't get you nowhere in the long term. Yes, you might make, $5, 10, 15, $20,000 in the short term, but money is going to run out if it doesn't keep coming in. But someone who's a marathon runner is going to have consistent income because they follow the processes from the get-go rather than just focusing on all the wrong things. Focus on the right things when it comes to mindset, focus on the right things when it comes to processes, and the rest of things will come as a side effect. You'll notice that the end result for the marathon runner was obviously, building themselves a better life. Whereas for a sprinter, it's actually going back into work. It's the complete opposite to what trading is all about. Obviously, you do get a few people that do still like to work, they do still want to keep their businesses and all that, but you get the point. Hypothetically, let's say that a trader came into trading to quit their 9 to 5 and to go into being a full-time trader. That trader must follow the correct mindset as part of being a marathon runner compared to following the incorrect mindset being a gambler, a sprinter. There is a way of doing things, and you can't expect to become long-term consistently profitable doing things the wrong way. So I really hope that's given you a bit of an insight as to the two different types of traders that come in. And before you to click off this video, I really want you to have a little think about which one you think you are. And if you don't know which one you are, have a look at this, okay? And think about which one you want to end up being. Do you want to end up having a life of a marathon runner, or do you end up wanting to have a life as a sprinter? If you want a life being a sprinter, doing that bit of a sprint and then having to stop for ages because you're exhausted, you're tired, you might have to go back into work. If you want to have that life, by all means, go for it. But you might as well just stick to work at that stage, because what's the point of jumping in and out of work? There's no point. Or do you want to actually take things slowly, take your time with it, accept that it's going to take anything from 3 months to 2 years, or even potentially more, or sometimes even less, to become consistently profitable? Or are you going to go in with a mindset that it's going to take no time? Because that never works, and this has a much higher statistical probability of working. And you may also find that the 95% of traders who actually make it in this industry tend to fall within this one, whereas the 5% of traders who don't make it in this industry, most of the time, not all of the time, most of the time, fall under this umbrella. So I really hope this visualization kind of helps you kind of see the two different types of traders, like I say. And if you feel like this video has helped, please do drop a comment down below, drop a like rating. I would love to hear your stories as to how long it took you guys to realize that maybe you were in the sprinter mindset, and how long it took you to move to a actual trader mindset, a marathon runner mindset. Okay, and how you went from being and the only reason why I'm so passionate about this, like I said, is I want you to tell me how you went from being the old Dan, because this is the old me, to being the new Dan, because this is the new me. Okay, I was once a sprinter. I once came in with a mindset that it's easy to make money in this market, and it is not. It does not work like that. But now, with the right understanding as to how things work, I know what's expected of me to be consistently profitable long term, and how I can maintain that wealth and make generational wealth for many generations to come, and for my upper generations, my family, my parents, my grandparents, all my relatives, etc., etc. So yeah, I think that's all the points I wanted to cover as part of this video, and I really wanted to just split these both into two halves and really want you guys to think of which one you fall under. If you like this video, drop a like. Please do comment, please do subscribe, hit the bell so you know when I post next. And like I said, I do have a little bit of more information that I wanted to share with you at the end. If you are in the Mentfunding Discord, you may have noticed that we've got a competition going on right now, whereby if you invite people into the Mentfunding Discord, as long as they're not bots, cryptos, gamers, join for join or paid invitees, you are actually in with a chance of winning a $5,000 evaluation account. Now, that's nothing cheap. If you head over to our website, you'll actually be able to see that that's not a cheap challenge to have. So if you want to be within a chance to win a $5,000 Mentfunding evaluation, then please do check the description down below, join our Discord, and get invited. Invite your friends, invite your family, invite your fellow traders that you know. And we would love to see what your journey ends up being if you do win one of these $5,000 accounts. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your week, rest of your weekend, rest of your day, wherever you are. Stay safe, and I will see you in next week's video.